Welcome to the Sex, Money, and Real Estate Podcast, the show for real estate couples about how to close more deals in the bedroom. My name is Nancy Jameson.
And I'm Bill Jameson.
And each week we deep dive into juicy, intentional, sexy conversations, sharing with you what it takes to create balance in your intimate relationships and your real estate business. Thank you so much for being here.
Aloha, baby.
Hello. Hi.
Hi. Aloha. I got tropical vibes today.
Sweet.
Yeah, I should have worn my Hawaiian shirt.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Do you want to do a wardrobe change?
I might, right in the middle of it all.
Okay. Awesome.
So guess what?
What?
I'm Bill Jameson.
And I'm Nancy Jameson.
And this is the Sex, Money, and Real Estate Podcast.
Yes. The show that demonstrates the possibility of massively successful balance in your intimate relationships and your real estate business is the J.A.M. It's possible.
Absolutely. It's possible.
Yes.
It's reality.
Yes.
All right. So, we're teaching you how to turn breakdowns into breakthroughs.
How do we do that?
We do that by sharing our B2B stories.
Yes.
And
breakdown and breakthrough.
And asking y'all to share your B2B stories as well.
Mm-hmm.
So if we can break down and break through, you can too. And we want to hear about your life experience with and how you do it. We want to hear about your wisdom.
Okay, cool.
So
Awesome.
If you're interested, give us a shout.
Yeah, go to jamesonandcompany.com/podcast, and then there's an application there. Click the link. It'll take you to an application to where you can be considered for an interview or a guest spot here on the podcast, whether you're a thought leader or if you want to share your breakdown, a breakthrough story. And then also, for those of you that really enjoy writing and sharing via writing, then there's also another link that you can go and share your written story. And of course, that'll go out to the community and just really allow others to share from your experience too. Because definitely, if there's one thing that I know is the more I share, the more people feel added to and contributed to, and really it grants them permission to share as well. It grants them permission to experience themselves. So we love it.
Yes. Awesome. What is your magic, baby?
So my magic is all around our equipment. And we've started to video our podcast recordings in addition to obviously recording on the mic. And what I love about it is through research and best practices and just, talking with different folks that vlog or podcast or any of those people that like YouTubers, they love the stuff. It's allowed us to create, some choices around getting some new equipment. So I love our new lights and I love our new stands, and the camera is next on the list. And I'm just really grateful for the ability to have all those resources and the connections to allow us to bring a higher level, a higher quality of product to our listeners.
And help facilitate that delivery of that message.
Yes.
For sure.
What's your magic?
I have some very short and sweet magic, and it is, it's going to be a little surprising for you.
Okay.
You ready?
Yes.
Okay. I had my criminal background check.
Oh, yeah.
And guess what?
You're a criminal? You're a smooth criminal?
I'm a smooth criminal. Yeah. The background check, determined that I haven't been caught.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So it's clean. Long story short is we live in a neighborhood where somebody's always asking for a notary. And we're not door knocking as much these days.
Right.
I wanted another way to make sure that, we got exposed to the neighborhood and they got exposed to us, and it's an opportunity to also give back or contribute, or come from contribution. Yeah. And so I part of becoming a notary is to have a criminal background check performed, and it came back clean.
Thank goodness.
Yep.
I'm not going to haul your ass off in a paddy wagon or a truck or any of that kind of stuff.
Right.
Like back of a police car.
Right. Exactly.
Oy, oy, oy.
Not today, at least.
Excuse me, Mrs. Jameson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no. Okay, good.
Yep. So good to go. Clean bill of health as far as my criminal background goes. And I'm on my way to being a notary public.
Awesome. Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you going through that process first. So now it's going to be that much easier for me to go through.
Boom. There you go.
Very cool. So today's episode it's really interesting. Again, I love how these downloads come out of, simple conversations or experiences that we have when we're out and about or, just doing what we do. And really, so this conversation is all around why we want to live to 125 years old or older. Of course, the plus. I'm open to plus, and so just a little backstory. We discussed a long time ago, like early on in our relationship, that it was definitely something that we were both playing for. Was this long game. In other words, we wanted to live to 125 or beyond 100 at that point, and then it's like, oh yeah, like why not? Like let's play for living to 125 years old or longer. And yet when we talk about this or we share this concept or idea or the vision, like, we're casting that vision. I mean, we are both very intentional people, very conscious. And so we have lots of conscious, intentional conversations, one of them being 125, but it's often met with what?
Yeah. Or
what do you speak of? Like,
yeah.
125, like, wait a minute, I'm just playing for, 70 or 80 or, and that's just, it's like, why would you do that is essentially what they're getting at. And, while we're talking about life and life-giving practices, there is that flip side. And I think that that's where that confusion comes in. And so for many people, death is very confronting and a very uncomfortable topic. Yeah. And so that's immediately where they go to is, wait a minute, I don't even want to think about, like, again, we're thinking very proactively of like, oh my gosh, like what can I do to expand my life and extend my life to 125? And they're like, wait a minute, this means death, so it's just interesting. And so before we get into this, I do want to remind you, just a quick note about Sex, Money, and Real Estate podcast is that Bill and I are not doctors. We're not therapists. We're not psychologists. We're not any of those things that require a tremendous amount of school and licensing and all that kind of
or
stuff.
Or letters after our names.
We have different kinds of letters after our names.
That's true.
But we are joyous, abundant, and mature. That's what we talk about. That's the J.A.M.
Yeah.
We're a couple who passionately is sharing our story around growth and breakdowns to breakthroughs. And it all relates to sex, money, and real estate, and then the relationship to all of it. So our thoughts, opinions, beliefs, experiences are our own. So please consult your doctor or healthcare provider or broker or any of those things regarding any kind of questions or issues or whatever related to your health, your mental health, your physical health, or specific state laws as it relates to your real estate business. But again, this is me and Bill doing us. So all that being said, the question on the table, my love, is why do you want to live to 125 or more?
When we get met with some of the resistance around that conversation, the thing that comes to my head is like, why not? Like, why wouldn't you want to live? I mean, I get it, right? Sometimes you think of, being advanced in years or older age or however you want to say it, then you may think, that maybe your physicalness is not up to par or you're not as mentally acute or whatever, but when you and I talk about living to 125, we talk about being at full capacity, right?
Yeah. Like peak performance.
Yeah.
Like we watch the YouTube videos of the marathoners that are running marathons and they're 100, like they're 100 or, powerlifting or
yeah, all the stuff.
Yeah.
Because I mean, to be at 125 or plus is to be, my context around it would be to be one of those people that's running marathons or still weightlifting or, still playing, Scrabble and knowing all the words,
Yeah.
in multiple languages.
The definition of vitality and energy and energized and, fully present and aware and all of those things. Just fully experiencing life, like fully experiencing the breadth of all of that, and like just enjoying and nourishing and just relishing in the fact that, oh my gosh, like I'm living and I get to live. I get to experience, I get to have this, I get to, as opposed to I have to, or
right.
I'm
right.
a whole bag
relishing
of bones,
in it.
or
Yeah, I love that.
It's definitely a different mindset. So why not? That's where I am too. It's like, why not?
I mean, at 125 plus, got to keep adding that plus in.
Got to keep adding that plus.
Is like, I get to continue to teach and help and contribute and share wisdom and stories and things that could be very healing for people, and things that, being at the ripe old age of 125 plus, that a lot of people would not experience. I mean, could you imagine recontextualizing something for an 80 or 90-year-old because you're 125?
Yeah, right. Like that's a whole nother 40 years. That's another 45 years.
Right.
It's another, it's like another lifetime. Like It's an ad.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's yes. So go ahead. You're on a roll.
I mean, yeah. So, the wisdom that comes with it, and that wisdom, I mean, you can have a lot of knowledge, but the wisdom is, having the ability to use that knowledge in an empowering way, and, to put the two together so you get three. And, I mean, that's something that's kind of earned over time as you put your reps in. And then, on the other side of things, being a little bit of, a techie, or at least liking Star Trek, is I want to experience the latest technological advances. Like I want to see what the floating hover car is going to be like.
Yes.
I want to drive one. Or, if we go back to the future, then I want to be on the hoverboard. Like the real hoverboard.
Yeah, all of it.
Right.
I mean, just like experience all of it. They said, I remember reading in Tony Robbins' book, his money book, and this was written back in, I want to say 2007. And in the back of the book, they were talking about all the technological advances. And I read that book in 2019. So that was 12 years later. So in the moment of that book, he was talking about 3D printing and how the 3D printer eventually will print human parts. And I was like, oh my God, like that's already here. Like that already happens. They, the 3D, the human parts, they, somebody got in trouble because they printed a 3D printed a gun. Like they do skin grafts, like all that really cool technologically advanced stuff that it's just so fast and furious. Like, of course I want to be around to experience all of that.
Totally.
And the fact that you can now buy a 3D printer. I mean, Santa Claus got the boys a 3D printer for Christmas. Right. So like we have a 3D printer now in the house when not, 14 years ago, 13 years ago, it was not even remotely close to being like a household name or anything like that. But yet we have one in the house and now we print really fun, cool things like flower pots. I mean, it's really neat. So that's just a small taste of like what's to come, like I want to see it. I want to see all of that really cool stuff. And when we were talking about this earlier, before we hopped on the mic, just again, back to this teaching part of it, it's the ability to demonstrate what's possible for others.
Totally.
And like recontextualizing what it means to be 80. Well, I'm 120, you have the possibility of 40 more years. How about that? What?
Yeah. What's that story about breaking the M field around, the mile running?
The 4-minute mile.
Yeah.
When Roger Bannister broke the 4-minute mile, like it took so many decades leading up to break the 4-minute mile. And yet once he broke the 4-minute mile, now here comes all these other people who are breaking the 4-minute mile.
Because once you see it can be done, it can be repeated.
It expands
the consciousness.
It expands the M field. It expands the consciousness. It expands the possibility. It's like, oh wow, he did it. I can do it too.
Yep.
So yes.
So so making that 125 plus mainstream for sure. For sure. How about like to meet your grandchildren or at a higher level, or your greats, and actually hang out with them.
Yeah, that's definitely a driver for me too. I mean, we had the boys. I was 34 and 35 when we had the boys. So how old were you? 80 and 81?
21.
No.
Cougar
You're
town.
older than I am.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not a cougar.
Oh, yeah.
That's funny.
I'm 51.
So 34. So you were 36 and 37?
Yep.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Yes, of course we will see their grandchildren, but if they decide to wait until they're older, it'd be great to see grandchildren and great grandchildren.
Right. And I'm not attached to it yet. It'd be cool.
I'm a little bit attached to it.
Okay.
But that would be awesome for sure.
And then you have like a BHAG around it, right?
Yeah. Well, my BHAG is to go to the moon. And then I have since edited it to go to Mars too, or beyond. Because you got to add a plus to that too. Like what happens if you can go to the moon and Mars? Or the moon, Mars, and Venus, or wherever. I mean, I don't know where they're going to go to next after Mars, but so BHAG is a big, hairy, audacious goal.
Thank you. I was just gonna say.
And so why not? I mean, they're talking about it now.
Beautiful. So
you don't have that BHAG? You don't want to go to the moon?
Yeah, I totally want to go to the moon.
Okay.
I don't know if I really ever wrote it down as like a BHAG. And yet, that shuttle's ready to fly. I'm ready to go. So, yeah. Absolutely.
Yes. Awesome.
So, the question that goes out to y'all is, or what we'll talk about next is like, what does it take to live to be 125? Mm-hmm. I mean, we'll never exactly know 100% until we get there. Yet, I think we have some pretty good ideas. I mean,
yeah, there's definitely clues for sure.
Yeah, patterns over time.
Absolutely. One of them is environment. I mean, who you surround yourself with, what you surround yourself with, the music, the food, the lifestyle, the employment, the people that you share your bed with, the car you drive, where you shop, like all of those practices are environments. And so the totality of your environments is very important. And there are a lot of great communities out there to where you can be in community with each other. Church is a beautiful community. The garden club is a community, so if you want to surround yourself with the most empowering people, then figure out where those communities are or start your own.
Yeah. There you go.
And so one of our communities that we have found ourselves in very empowering conscious conversation, around our health and fitness and overall lifestyle and consciousness is the Your Day Balance Game community. And so they're here, right now in Atlanta, Georgia, but you can also be in community on the app. We just launched the app a little while ago, a couple months ago. So if you wanted to join the community in that way and then be a part of the Balance Chart app, then go to the ydbg.com and then download the app on Android or iOS.
Nice.
Yes.
Cool. One thing about, environment makes me think of like those blue zones.
Yeah.
They're out west, or I think there's like a small island off of Japan or something that is a blue zone where there's more centurions than anywhere else on the planet.
Yep. So San Diego, I know, is one. Sedona is one. But there's definitely just, you can Google blue zones as well. And then, of course, for whatever reason, those areas, those specific vortexes, they're called, are really intense energy centers that, again, geographically speaking, provide a super healthy, nourishing, enriching environment for longevity.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice. And then, along with that, like you talked about, is just, continuing on with, you're working on your immunity and having high immunity, superfoods, clean air,
yes,
all that plays into blue zones, but you can also play into that at your own home as well. So.
Yeah. Just regenerative healing practices.
Yep.
I mean, it's, you don't have to do everything all at once because that could get overwhelming and frankly short circuit the whole process. But if you're adopting or integrating one thing at a time, then Detoxing quicker than you're intoxing,
Yes.
is very important, like cleansing or fasting. And so cleansing or fasting goes beyond food. So if you're thinking about what can I cleanse and fast or fast from, or what can I eliminate? What can I reduce? What can I increase? Or ultimately, eliminate. So social media comes to mind. The news comes to mind. Clearly food, people, your work environments. And I mean, again, these are things that will assist you in creating some healing around those things. So we like to talk about detoxing quicker than you intox, because life is very intoxicating.
Yes, for sure.
And it's important to take a moment and pause and allow your body to heal, allow your mind to heal, allow your heart to heal, allow your breath to heal, like all of those things. So, just monitoring the amount of those things really assist with that. And then likewise, what you just said about the high immunity or experiencing high immunity between air or superfoods or, blue zones.
Yeah. So. And getting your rest and all that kind of stuff. One habit at a time.
Yes.
So what are some examples, do you feel like of, that will create some of this environment, whether it's the food or the, or maybe something you could read, maybe that would be an example of.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about, the Tao of Health, Sex, and Longevity before. And in that book, the 3 pillars of going long, no pun intended, but the 3 pillars of sustainability are nutrition, exercise, and then the utilization of the sexual energy. So it's utilizing and cultivating the sexual energy. And, so nutrition, I mean, that is lots of salads and clean living and much less processed food and less alcohol, less sugar, less caffeine, less like of those things that aren't necessarily natural, shall we say.
There you go. Okay.
And then more water, more fruit, more vegetables, more salads, more
stillness, more, being present, more, being in the now, right now.
Especially while you're eating. Yeah, yes. No doubt. Exercise. I mean, that goes without saying.
Yep.
Between cardio and yoga and strength training is super important, because that builds up bone density or maintains bone density and stretches and contracts your muscles and, all of those yummy things. So it's walking, it's running, it's swimming, biking, yoga, Pilates, flexibility massages, just all of those things that you love about exercise.
Boom. And you know what? Here's the thing. The Tao has 3,000 years worth of information in there.
Yeah. Experience, right? Expertise, stories,
patterns, right?
Yes, lots of
there
patterns.
There might be a nugget or two in there that you can pick up and utilize right now.
Yes. So the book that we often reference is The Tao of Health, Sex, and Longevity, and the author is Daniel P. Reed, A Modern Practical Guide to the Ancient Way.
Yep.
So it's awesome. And then, of course, we've done several podcasts on cultivating the sexual energy and just really utilizing it. First, having a very mature awareness around the healing powers, the healing influence of sexual energy. I mean, it's the energy that creates worlds and babies and music and businesses and podcasts and exquisite, amazing relationships. And so why not study it and learn more about it? And I mean, it's the most powerful force that there is in the world to contribute to your life force and your vitality. And why not? I mean, it's fun, it's pleasurable. It's God created a beautiful, expressive, delicious way to explore and expand and experience yourself. So why not practice it? Why not study it? So, and we have several other podcasts around it that you can certainly take a listen to again or listen to for the first time.
Nice. And then, we often talk about, healthy lifestyle and exercise for sure.
Yeah.
Then, and I think we have talked about this as well. The, having your board of directors. I know we have. I know
a couple
of podcasts around
absolutely
it. Being the average of the 5 people that you hang out with.
Yep.
and so choosing that environment with care as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, you hang out with, 5 people that are, that are wise and will help to lift you up, and in turn you can lift them up where you're mature, and is amazing. And what the ultimate thing that happens is that y'all get to point out each other's blind spots, or, where you may be in denial around something, and you can circumvent that or rise above it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And just assist each other and communicate, contribute. It's amazing. So yes, find your tribe.
Cool. So
find your tribe.
What have you done this week to recently contribute to living to 125?
Yeah. What have you done?
What have I done?
Yeah. What have you done?
Oh my gosh. I spent like 45 minutes last night stretching.
Uh-huh. That's true.
While watching a Marvel movie with the boys, because they didn't have homework, because the teacher stopped assigning homework already, and it's almost the end of school.
Right.
But it was awesome. Had fun. And not only was I stretching during that time, but we have one of those therapeutic massage guns, and I just beat the crap out of my legs,
in the most loving kind of way, I'm sure you mean.
Of course. Yeah, in the most loving way, because my calves and my thighs, and I mean, after running and stuff, it feels just amazing. Like I have brand new legs. They feel so much lighter and easier to use after I do that. So, so I gave myself the gift of stretching and massage last night. What have you done?
So
girlfriend?
I just completed a 7-day fast. We finished that, I guess about a week ago, and we do longer fasts every quarter anyway, between 5 to 7 days. And so, it's a way for us to, flesh out all the things that may be built up in there, or to allow our digestive system a chance to pause and heal itself. And then that energy gets redirected. And so creativity happens, new ideas happen, great sleep happens. And it's a great way to allow different systems within my body or our bodies to rest. So just completed that.
Nice.
It was great. Very great.
And then you mentioned earlier, getting on the BC, the balance chart.
Yep.
Go to the YDBG.com, and I'll spell it out again, THEYDBG.com, and download the app. And work on those habits, one habit at a time.
Yep.
Doesn't have to be this big undertaking. Just choose a couple habits to hold yourself accountable, so that you can increase your health and vitality, and if
your
you
margin.
choose, live to 125
right
plus.
Yep. Increase your margin. I mean, we talk about profit margin all the time. So increase your personal margin, increase your personal bandwidth, how much you got on top of that. And then lastly, I think, I know a big part of sustainability and contributing to your vitality and living long is identifying the magic in your life and documenting it, writing it down, and sharing it. And so, again, that's why we start off every episode with magic, is because it lives on forever. It's like a book. You write it or you record it. It literally lives on forever, and it keeps on multiplying, because every time somebody listens to the magic, it's like ignited all over again. And then that magic is in their consciousness, and then it's reverberating out. And so it's like the butterfly effect. It just keeps going.
Yeah. Magic shows other people also what is possible.
Yeah, absolutely. So we identify magic a lot. Again, what you focus on expands. So those are definitely all ways that we've contributed this week to us living to 125.
Awesome. Cool. So, the question to our audience is, what age would you like to live to?
Yeah, I'm really curious.
Yeah. So drop us a note or a comment, and let us know, because, whatever age you would like to live to or are playing for, we definitely want to know that. And then we want to know what bubbles up for you when you think about, death or dying too. It was what comes up, because I'm sure there's some kind of emotional response or some kind of programming. And sure would like to hear about the different experiences.
Yeah, absolutely. So send us an email, sexmoneyrealestate@gmail.com. Of course, drop us a comment on IG @sexmoneyrealestate. It's all things Sex Money Real Estate. So, you find that, you can leave us a review, you can email us, you can leave us a comment, you can say, hey, what's going on? Whatever it is.
Yes, and we love to have
Love it.
And for you to create a new 5-star review for us on iTunes for sure. It'd be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
That's my intention today.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, love goes out. Appreciate you, Nance, for doing this thing with me, life and the podcast and all the stuff. And I appreciate the audience for tuning in and listening as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
Peace goes out. See you soon. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Wow, what a show. Thank you so much for listening. If you're inspired, we ask that you share the podcast with one person and subscribe and follow our show. I'm Nancy Jameson.
And I'm Bill Jameson.
And remember, it's a great life.
Woo!
Quick note about the Sex, Money, and Real Estate podcast. We are not doctors or licensed therapists. We are a joyous, abundant, and mature couple passionately sharing our story of growth around sex, money, and real estate. Our thoughts, opinions, and beliefs are our own, so please consult your doctor, healthcare provider, or your broker regarding any questions or issues you have related to your physical or mental health or specific state laws regarding your real estate business.